All right, so I'm back here working on the oversized shaper sled. So I'm getting ready to run the last couple of pieces that I have. So I was in the process of setting up this feather board. You know, I drill and tap this 4 holes right here. That's what this lands. So I can adjust this, like this. But the slots were pretty tight, so I had to make them a little wider. So I took this to the pin router and I just made them a little wider. So let me show you how it's done. Okay, so let me take you over here. So I got the pin router already set up to do this. Okay, so the main thing about using the pin router is, in my opinion, having a good fence. So I have a Beesmeyer fence on this one. Okay, I put, the same rail that I put on other machines. I think I made a video. I'll mention that in a video. And, I have this pins right here that I use them as a memory stop. So when I drop this down and I hit that pin, that becomes my memory stop. So, I can have different setups right here. You can open up this at different distance and that becomes your memory stop. So you can open up your fans, hit the pin, and you're right back where you were at before. So the second thing is, is using your fence. Let me bring this up. Okay, in this case, I have this fence right here. So this little hole, that's where you plunge your router into your fence. But in this case, I left a little bit of meat right here at the bottom. Typically, it's a little more. For some reason, I probably had to do something that I almost went through the wood. But, I do like having some meat right there. That way, when you run your piece, okay, it's not gonna do a job like this in the middle of your cut. All right. Now, I already have this set up for the plunge router, and this is how you adjust that. Okay. Let me switch hands here. So with this lever right here, you can change your depth setup. Okay. So that's how far down your cutter is gonna go into the work. All right. So in this router, you know, there's a pedal right here on the bottom. Okay, so when you push down on the pedal, you kind of create a little gap for this knob to push it down, and that's how this thing drops down. Okay, now when you press the pedal all the way down, you're gonna retract the whole head and it locks in place. All right, now a lot of people don't like this machine because it could be pretty dangerous. Now, the trick about using this machine is that you have to remember that you always have to cut against the rotation of the cutter. Okay? So, for example, if I want to make the slot, okay, and then I need to widen the slot on the left side of the slot, Okay, I need to make it wider on the left side, right? Now, after I make my first cut and I get ready to widen the slot, and I'm gonna do it on the left side, then I gotta run the piece counterclockwise. In other words, from right to left. Okay? Now that's very important because that's how you get like a kickback. Okay, let's say I want to make this slot wider on the left side, and I run it from left to right. The pin router is rotating clockwise, so what's going to do is going to grab the piece and it's going to throw it that way, you know, to my right, because you're feeding the piece with the rotation of the cutter. Okay, and a lot of times that's what freaks a lot of people out because you don't expect that. Okay, so I'm gonna put the phone on the tripod, and then, you know, I'll show you what I mean. All right, so here we go. It's gonna get pretty loud, so just bear with me. All right. Okay, so I already put a line right here where I'm going to start, and another line right there where I'm going to finish. So before I start the machine, I'm going to drop the head down. Just put a line right here. I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect, you know. Once I do that, I'm gonna have to go get a tri-square so I can transfer. Oh, maybe I can just do it like this, you know, roughly. All right, so here we go. All right, so I'm gonna widen the slots on the left side, this side, okay? Meaning that I have to close my fence just a little bit. Now that's the nice thing about having a fence like this, because it's just like a table saw. You know, I have a ruler right there, and you know, it's just a matter of setting up your dimension, and that's it. I just opened it up about a good, almost like a 16, right? So I fed this like this first. Now I'm gonna feed it this way, okay? Remember, I'm going against the rotation of the cutter, so I'm gonna cut on this side. So here we go. I don't have a brake on this machine. I'm sure it had one at one point, but that's the way I got it. And I guess while we're talking about the pin router, this is my homemade guard. So right now I took it off just for you guys to see. But typically I like using the guards on all the machines as much as possible. But anyway, now, again, let's say that I want to make the slot wider on the right side of my first cut, then I run it from left to right, because the cutter is spinning clockwise, so I'll be cutting like this. Okay, that's super important because this thing can be pretty scary. So, but it's a machine that it's just fun to use, and it's just nice, you know. I mean, it's you can do a lot of stuff with this. In fact, here's another sacrificial fence that I was going to use to make the race panels for the doors that I'm making, but that's a little scary, you know, because you really need a power feeder to do any type of a shaping work. So I kind of changed my mind on it and order the cutter from Grizzly, and that's what I use to make the race panels that I have on that shaper that I'm doing that giant sled on. So anyways, this machine is awesome. I love it. You know, a lot of people use them as a you know, you can do copy work or pattern work, which, by the way, I forgot to mention that the reason why it's called a pin router is because there's a pin right here. You can see it right there. So I'm going to erase it so you can. Now that pin, now it's aligned with the cutter. Here, let me drop this down. now you see that, well, I got, now I almost touch it. You know, you don't want to touch it, you don't want to ruin your, so let me bring it down. Anyway, so that's in line with the cutter. So you can make a template work. You have, if you want to copy the shape of this, this will be your template. Then you put your piece on top of it, you clamp it, you screw it to your template, whatever you need to do. And then you're gonna run it against the pin, like a ball bearing. So whatever shape you're doing, you just follow with this, and the top piece is getting cut by the cutter on top. So, sorry, this is kind of tight, but yeah. There you go. So let's check this new feather board on that giant sled. Well, I got one more to run, but that one is gonna be this one. Now this one is pretty small, but could be pretty scary. So I'm gonna do that one off camera. But there it is. So that's supposed to be aligned, technically, with those holes right there. All right, now I have my knobs. I don't know how many holes I drill and tap on this thing. So now I can have my piece. You know. And then obviously I have this clamp right here, this toggle clamp. And you've seen the way I've been doing this with smaller pieces. I've been running on the shaper. Anyway, so I hope that kind of helps somebody. You know, like I said, that thing, it's a lot of fun, dangerous, but you know, like any other machine, you got to be in tune with the machines. You have to listen to them and, you know, take care of them, and, you know, just try to work as safe as you can. You know, use the guards, you know. Like I said, I didn't use the guard right now on that one because I was trying to, you know, show you with the camera. But, you know, you can do any type of work as long as you take the time to, you know, make it safe. You know, that's what I'm doing with this thing. I mean, I mentioned in all the video that I probably have like 8 hours that I put into this thing, you know, drilling and tapping all these holes. But it just worked pretty good, you know. I'm happy with the way I was doing the little tiny little, where they at? Well, they're about this size, you know. So I'll be setting up the power feeder. We'll run my pieces across the grain first. That's why I have the fence like this. And then once I'm done doing that, then I'm gonna put it parallel to this fence. That's what these things are. So I drill and tap a couple of holes so I can park them right here at the end of the sled. So when I'm not using them, they're right there, so they don't get lost. So anyway, I'll make another video when something kind of crazy or cool I think of, and I'll see you guys later. All right, there's another shot right there. Old school shaper. All right, see ya.